Palmetto State Armory PSAK47 back to the show. 2000 rounds completed, so I'm guessing that those who are rooting for the PSAK are already happy to hear that. But let's talk about cosmetics as we always do at the beginning. What you guys can see, what I decided to put a little bit piece of wood to bring that rifle more to the classic look. On the top we have a so-called cheese grater upper handguard, and I will give you the link. There is a link to the AK files where you can purchase it. I think so this is a very outstanding product. I like it very much, and to tell you the truth, it keeps the upper portion of the rail really cool because of all these open holes. Also, what we did, we got the cheek riser on it, and as you can see, we got outstanding 3x scope on the RS regulator 302 and ACOG, so you can sense that we will be talking a little bit about the accuracy of this rifle. And of course, this is the combo if you want to purchase it from our store. But let me start from the beginning. As you guys remember, we had the problems with torquing the muzzle device to the front post, and I have used my retard strength, and as you can see right now the muzzle brake is much closer to the front post. So what I'm guessing is the threads on the barrel were not finished very well or whatever, but I just torqued it by using my hand. And muzzle device is much closer to the post right now. The bad thing about it was that, as you can see, what happened to the front retention pin, it basically went inside the post and it got stuck. So it's holding up the muzzle device. There's not much of the movement on the muzzle device, but the front retention pin is stuck. You know, I thought that maybe from the recoil it will bounce back, but it didn't. So definitely, guys from Palmetto State Armory, if you are watching, check what the hell is happening on that front post, because there is some voodoo magic here, okay? Good news is I torqued the muzzle device, a fighter brake, and went in, no problem. Bad news is now we got a stuck pin on the front post, all right? But enough of the bitching on that subject. Other than this, guys, we did drops to the concrete. We have dropped the rifle first on the magazine. We used the Magpul Gen 2 PMAX, and it withstands very nicely. No damage to the rivets. At least I cannot see anything now. You know, there always sometimes you gotta watch out for those rivets because they take a lot of beating when you got a lot of stress on the magazine like this. But all the rivets are staying nicely tight, no movement whatsoever on those rivets. Then we have dropped to the one side, and of course after each drop we're expanding the magazine. Rounds were flying down the range, and then we flipped the rifle to the other side, and the rifle landed on the charging handle side. So as you can see, I checked all the front posts, the bunny ears, everything is looking perfect. Nothing got beat up. You know, there are some scratches on the finish, but not that much, to be honest with you. So the rifle did very well with the basically drops. No effect on it. Also, what I have done, I have performed the push-ups, but as you can guess, if the drop straight on the magazine on the concrete didn't do anything to the rifle, what would the push-ups do? But anyhow, I executed the push-ups, and rifle performed you know, very nicely. Other than this, we did tons and tons of magazine dumps. So now, of course, let's have a look what's happening inside, because this is the main question, right? How we are doing inside the rifle. When I'm taking the rifle apart, let me tell you that we had absolutely zero malfunctions. All rounds went down the range, and we did very well. Ooh, speaking about the accuracy, I hinted a little bit that we're shooting, you know, to see what we can do with it. But because this is only a 3x, so what I did, I pulled back to the 100 yards. I set up the steel target, and I choose the random spot in the middle of the head on the steel target, and I expanded the 5 rounds. And check out that group, guys. This is the group with the Wolf full metal jacket polyformance rounds. So basically a cheap shit ammo, and look at the group. I couldn't be any happier than this. I honestly think so, that if you will have a good ammo, this barrel can deliver one MOA constant performance, outstanding performance on that barrel. So again, my head goes again to the barrel, and whatever Palmetto State Armory is doing on the barrels, if you guys will continue to keep making them that way, I would love to see you selling the barrels on the market for the average guy, so everyone can have it. But all right, enough with the bullshit talk. Again, I just keep wandering off to the sides. How are we doing on the recoil spring? Recoil spring is looking absolutely fine. I don't see any damages, any scratches, nothing on the bottom. All good. Back of the rear trunnion, there are marks. Look at the dirt, guys. By the way, I did not lubricate that rifle. That rifle is still wet from the original lubrication, which was performed at by guys at the Palmetto State Armory, and I was poking fun at the guy running with the oil can and lubricating those rifles, and honestly, he's doing outstanding job. Some of you may be pissed because you know, if you don't want to have that much oil, you would have to, I don't know, soak it in some alcohol and get it out. But you may keep it, and it's just don't lubricate it, okay? And we didn't lubricate. That was the main reason why I didn't lubricate it, still that rifle. All right, let me lower the trigger hammer. Rifle was of course checked before. There is no round in the chamber. And let me look at the bolt carrier, and we'll start with the bolt carrier, okay? So do we have any peeling on the back? Guys, this is looking beautiful. This is looking beautiful. There is some finish gone from the metal, but there is no deformation. So whatever they did, as far as maybe just the slight deformation right now, but I know really that could be just the illusion, but I will take a pictures, but there is no like visible deformation on the tail of the bolt carrier. Oh, we got something happening here, and this is and of course there is a corresponding mark on the front of the trunnion. So this is something what I have seen before on other rifles. It was RAS 47, if I remember this correctly. So we have a mark on the bolt carrier group, and we have a mark on the front trunnion. So what is basically happening, this baby is traveling here far and it's smashing against that. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on. It. This wasn't as visible after the first 1,000, now it is. All right, do we have anything inside the channel? Inside the channel is looking perfectly normal to me. And nothing here, all dirty. How we are doing with our piston and the rivet is holding up nicely, nothing is coming out. And how is the piston head? Because as you guys know, sometimes we could see the deformations on the piston head. The piston head is looking absolutely fine. It's just everything is dirty as hell. All right, so this is so much for the bolt carrier. And how we are doing on the bolt, front of the bolt. This is the front of the bolt. You should be watching the pictures. It's just dirty, and I don't see anything really jumping out of the and alarming. Maybe here, no, that's just the nicely round up thing. I will take a pictures of this. Maybe you guys can see this better on the pictures. But all the locking locks, all this is looking good to my naked eye. Sometimes on the camera you can spot a little bit more because you got these high resolution pictures. The firing pin is looking good too. And honestly, I don't see anything alarming yet. Some of you were asking me about like this machining mark. This was done at the beginning by Palmetto State Armory, by their tooling. I don't know why, but it is here. It's not affecting the performance of the rifle. It's just the mark, but it is here. I don't know why they did it that way. This is how they do it. All right, so the bolt is looking good too. Of course, as I said, if I miss something, guys, point this out to me and we'll talk about it more. All right, I usually reply to all your comments. Okay, let's have a look at the trigger. A trigger hammer is looking perfectly fine. I don't see any deformations. This was all done you know, by the bolt carrier sliding on the trigger. Nothing, no modifications were done by the Palmetto State Armory guys, and all this is looking good. Let me release the trigger hammer, and all is looking very fine. That the trigger isn't bad. The trigger isn't bad. It's not great for the fast magazine dumps. I would rather have the ALG trigger so I can quickly do the magazine dumps. This one has a little bit longer pull, so it takes a little bit more time, but I'm still doing my best to keep that rifle you know, on the spot. And by the way, we monitor the temperature. We try to not cross it 500 degrees. We did cross the 500 degrees in the first episode, but that was necessary. It was very, very hot outside, but this time, you know, I'm really watching and trying to keep that temperature low. All right, how we are looking on the trunnion, I don't see anything bad with the trunnion. So-called bullet guide is doing great too. The chamber is beautiful. Everything is just horribly dirty. But how we are looking at the back bottom of the trunnion, nothing. Are those rivets staying put? Yes, they are doing great. Everything is just dirty, as I said. This catch release, I was bitching a little bit about the catch release with the first 1000, but now after all these mag changes, everything is working better. This is like with AK. If something is not going right, just keep using it, and eventually it will be fine. Use a bigger hammer. All right, let's have a look at the rear side post, because we did the drops, and I know that I have seen the marks on the rear side post. The rear side post took some beating during those drops, but it's solid, it's not deformed, and it's not cracked. Imagine that. So we can do the rear side post which is not cracking from the drops. How are we doing on that sling loop? And look at this, the sling loop didn't deform as well. Imagine that. All right, let me remove that cheese grater upper. Let me look into the gas tube. I will look through the camera like this. I look like a pirate. Everything is looking great inside. I don't see any damages, and the gas tube is holding up nicely. How is it looking in the gas block? The gas block is surprisingly clean. I mean, it's not clean, but it's nice. Yep, nothing on it. The one thing what I have noticed, guys, and I'll try to take pictures, well, and the Palmetto State Armory guys, if you are watching this, I would pay attention, because you have very little material left. I'll use my finger. Very little material left in this area, and it's very thin. And when I was putting that wooden handguard, it looked like this thing may crack, you know, but it didn't. But as I said, this is very little material. I will take a picture so you guys can see it. One thing what I would advise them is to add a little bit more material to it, so you know, you don't have a horror time when installing you know, any rails or whatever, and when you are closing that lever. Other than this, everything here is looking great. So far so good. I honestly don't see anything wrong inside the receiver, gas block, all that front post, other than what I said. So and the cleaning rod this time is staying in place, I'm guessing because of the wooden handguard, and the tension on the cleaning rod is greater, and that's why the cleaning rod is staying in place. All right, guys, that's it. If I have missed something, please let me know, and I'll address the issue. At the end of the show, you should see the footage of me performing the test on the no-go gauge, and so do not turn off the video yet. Wait for that footage. Okay, thanks for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, thank you, guys. Final test for today: to go or not to go. Let's go. And I cannot close it. Okay, let me make sure, let me slam it. I cannot close it on the no-go gauge. So the Palmetto State Armory will live for another 1,000 rounds. I'll be back, baby.